Donald Trump made a very public claim. He said China and Russia had assured him that they would not sell weapons to Iran. His exact warning was simple: if they do, it will be very bad for them. But now, a Reuters investigation claims Iran is about to receive hundreds of Chinese-made shoulder-fired air defense missiles. And those weapons aren't just coming from China. They're reportedly traveling through Pakistan before reaching Iran. If true, that raises two massive questions. Did Xi Jinping quietly fool Donald Trump? And even more intriguing, did Pakistan's Field Marshal Munir once again hoodwink Washington by playing both sides as mediator, publicly standing with Washington while privately helping Iran? Let's break that down. So here's what's driving the news. A new report claims that Iran is set to receive 300 to 400 Chinese-made shoulder-fired air defense systems. The deal includes China's QW-12 and FN-16 missiles, a deal worth $60 to $70 million. The plan: fly them out of Urumqi in western China, then route them through Pakistan into Iran. Delivery within weeks. This is not some fringe claim. Multiple Western and Middle Eastern intelligence sources confirmed that the deal was in discussion. The systems in question are man-portable, easy to move, easy to hide, exactly the kind of weapon Iran needs right now as it rebuilds after months of conflicts with Israel and the United States. The Chinese weapons plug another big gap. Weeks of US bombing showed Iran's air defense network was not nearly as strong as many believed. Israel claimed it destroyed large parts of Iran's integrated air defense system during the opening days of the conflict, and China now appears ready to plug those gaps for Iran. Here's where things get politically explosive. Just last week, Trump confidently declared that China and Russia had promised not to arm Iran. He even warned both countries against doing so. But Reuters now says that deliveries could begin within weeks. Officially, Beijing has denied the report. But if true, China watchers will not be surprised. Why? Because Iran sits at the heart of China's Belt and Road connectivity and remains one of Beijing's most important energy partners despite sanctions. So from Beijing's perspective, helping Iran rebuild just enough defense capability without openly escalating the conflict could fit neatly into its long-term strategy. If that's what happened, Trump's confidence may have been badly misplaced. When cornered by reporters, a surprised Trump reminded Xi Jinping's personal promise to him of no arms for Tehran. Take a listen.
Well, that would be surprising. I mean, things like that happen, but that would be surprising. He told me very strongly he wouldn't partake, and he knows I'd be quite disappointed.
Trump's language was calculated, not outrage, just disappointed, targeted at Xi Jinping. But perhaps the most fascinating part of the report is not China, it's Pakistan. According to the report, the missiles would travel from western China through Pakistan and enter Iran. Now, Pakistan has completely denied any involvement, calling the report absolutely concocted. But if these allegations are eventually proven true, Islamabad would once again be playing its favorite geopolitical game with both sides. Remember, Pakistan remains a major non-NATO ally in many American security calculations. It has recently rebuilt relations with Washington, particularly during the Iran conflict, where it publicly projected itself as a stabilizing regional partner. At the same time, Pakistan's closest strategic relationship remains China. The China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, massive Chinese defense cooperation, and decades of military partnership makes Beijing Pakistan's most important long-term ally. And Iran? Well, despite occasional border tensions, Pakistan also cannot afford prolonged hostility with its western neighbor. So if Pakistan merely allowed transit it wouldn't necessarily mean it supplied weapons, but it would mean facilitating Chinese strategic interests and helping Iran rebuild its capabilities while maintaining a very different public posture before Washington. Now you might ask, why are shoulder-fired missiles such a big deal, and especially for Iran? Because they solve one of Tehran's biggest wartime problems: large radar systems, fixed missile batteries, and major air defense installations. They can all be identified and destroyed. Portable launchers are different. They can be hidden, moved quickly, deployed around nuclear facilities, missile bases, oil infrastructure, or military headquarters even. Every truck, every warehouse, every mountain road can potentially become an air defense position for Iran. They are not enough to stop stealth aircraft, but they make drone operations, helicopter missions, and low-level strikes far more dangerous. And that is why military planners value them so highly and why Iran wants them urgently. So did Xi Jinping and Munir fool Donald Trump? Right now, there is no independent confirmation that the deliveries have actually begun. China denies everything, Pakistan denies everything, and Iran is not talking. But if Reuters reporting is accurate, it suggests something much bigger than one weapons shipment. It suggests that while Washington believed diplomatic assurances were holding, China and Pakistan may have quietly continued strengthening one of America's principal adversaries in the region. And Pakistan, of course, may have once again demonstrated its remarkable ability to keep one foot in Washington's camp and the other firmly inside Beijing's strategic orbit. That is the real story, because in this new Middle East power game, Munir is trying to sit at every table. The question is whether he can continue to do that without eventually being caught between tables. This is Times Access, where global stories meet India's perspective. Click on the bell icon to subscribe, because the next big global shift will have India at its center. One headline in the New York Times describing Pakistan-occupied Kashmir as Pakistani Kashmir. Within hours, India pushed back publicly. The Indian embassy in Washington called the headline misleading and incorrect. It said there is no Pakistani Kashmir, only Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. Now some may say, why fight over a few words? Well, because in geopolitics, the words you choose often reveal the position you take. And the narrative that you build, or that is built globally about an issue that actually has been festering for decades. Let's start at the beginning. The controversy began after the New York Times published a report on violent clashes during local elections in the Kashmir region occupied by Pakistan. Its headline read, "Clashes erupted Pakistani Kashmir as voting in local elections begins." Now, the story itself covered POK protests in places like Rawalakot and clashes with Pakistani police, but India wasn't objecting to the reporting on the violence. It was objecting to how the territory itself was described. The Indian embassy in Washington responded on X saying, "Misleading and incorrect headline, there is no Pakistani Kashmir, only Pakistan-occupied Kashmir." It added that the Union territories of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh have been, are, and will always remain an integral and inalienable part of India, while Pakistan is illegally occupying parts of these territories. Now here's the key distinction. When someone says Pakistani Kashmir, it can sound like the territory belongs to Pakistan. India rejects that completely. India's official position is that the region is Indian territory under illegal Pakistani occupation since the events that followed the First India-Pakistan War of 1947-48. For us, the region is Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, POK, or simply territory illegally occupied by Pakistan. So, from India's perspective, calling it Pakistani Kashmir risks giving legitimacy to Pakistan's control over territory that India legally claims as its own. In international disputes, language isn't just descriptive, it can also carry political implications. This isn't the first time that India has objected to such terminology. In fact, New Delhi has done so repeatedly at the United Nations, in diplomatic meetings, during international conferences, and even over maps. Just earlier this month, India's permanent representative to the UN, Ambassador Parvathani Harish, reiterated India's official position, saying that only unresolved issue is Pakistan's illegal occupation of Indian territory.
The Union territory of Jammu and Kashmir has always been, is, and will remain an integral and inalienable part of India. This is a constitutional and legal reality that Pakistan deliberately chooses to ignore. The only outstanding issue with regard to Jammu and Kashmir is the naked aggression and illegal occupation of India's sovereign territory by Pakistan.
Earlier this month in Dhaka, an Indian diplomat even interrupted a presentation after a map showed Jammu and Kashmir as part of Pakistan. She immediately objected, calling the depiction factually incorrect. So the response to the New York Times headline wasn't an isolated reaction. It fits into a much broader pattern. India has also been reinforcing this position politically. Just days ago on Kargil, Vijay Devas Defence Minister Rajnath Singh made India's position crystal clear. He said if there were ever any talks with Pakistan, they would only be about Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, describing it as a part of India illegally occupied by Pakistan. That statement was not made accidentally. India maintains that the issue is Pakistan's continued occupation of territory that legally belongs to India. This is also why official Indian documents call it Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. Western media often uses different terminology depending on which side they lean. Some use Pakistan-Administered Kashmir, others write Pakistan-controlled Kashmir. NYT used Pakistani Kashmir. Many in India argue that the New York Times, along with other Western media outlets, has repeatedly exhibited an anti-India stance in its coverage of issues. For Delhi, calling the region Pakistani Kashmir crosses a red line because it appears to legitimize Pakistan's claim over territory that New Delhi considers an inseparable part of India. And that is why 3 words in a headline triggered an official diplomatic response. Because in conflicts over borders, maps matter. Terminology matters, and sometimes a headline becomes part of the battle itself. What do you think? Should international media use sort of neutral administrative terms, or should they reflect legal sovereignty claims? Let us know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this explainer, don't forget to like, subscribe and keep watching Times Access.